Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Shima and I'm a painter, and in this video I'm going to do another sketchbook tour. I have been working on my sketchbooks lately and this sketchbook is finally finished. I have been working on this for 1 year now and I'm so excited to show you guys. If you haven't already, check out my other sketchbook tour videos. I suggest you to go ahead and do that. And without further ado, let's go and check this out. Okay, so let's start. This is a constant sketchbook. It's supposed to be for mixed media, I guess. It's quite thick. I'm not sure how many grams was it, but I like the texture and it's cream color. So I wanted to try something new and I picked up this sketchbook. This is done by ink, markers, and some pen. I was experimenting with this and this is the result of that. So the next page, I was working with some watercolors and ink and some pens, but then again, I didn't like the texture for watercolors, so I didn't continue this, and this was just something out of experience, and the results just turned out okay. The next page is just done with ink and some pen. I decided to focus more on portraits only, and these are all ink, and for the texture of the face I've used some ballpoint pen. For these ones I also used my ink and some pen. This was actually fun. I never combined so many portraits in one page and I really liked how the composition turned out. So after this page, I decided to use colors more and one color only. This is just color pencils, and I did the background with acrylic gouache. Same goes here, same mediums, acrylic gouache for the background and color pencil and some mechanical pencil for the faces because I wanted to make more details for these faces, so I use my mechanical pencils and this is the result of that. So I decided to draw portraits that I normally don't draw that often. So these portraits were something that caught my eye. All of these portraits are from Pinterest, by the way. These are not from imagination, but I wanted to just practice and have fun. So these are all done with brown ink and the background is also done with liquid watercolors. For these two, I went with red again. I used my color pencils and I wanted to focus more on the outlines and the shape of that. So I really like this one, to be honest. I think this is one of the coolest ones in this sketchbook. I really like the shading and also the outline somehow complement each other. Okay, for this page, I also use my pens and some markers for the background. I wanted to experience with some weird facial expressions, and this is why I chose this portrait. Same goes over here. I use my brown color pencil and some acrylic markers for the background. Okay, so these two, I actually really like how these portraits turned out. I really love the colors and also the hatching on these portraits. As I said before, I wanted to experiment with weird facial expressions, and somehow I tried to match two portraits that have the same theme, so I put them next to each other. These are also done with ballpoint pen and I just wanted to use black, and I did some details for the hatching under the nose. I really love this part and also the teeth. I think they turn out to be really cool. I really like this experiment. These two also done with ink and some pens. And for the background, they are done with watercolor markers. I have used almost every medium that was possible in this sketchbook. These are done with ballpoint pens. I just really like them. This one was done with pens and this one was with gel pens. And for the background, I also used my watercolor markers. They're pretty cool. They get you somehow a solid background. These two, I really love these two because I have never done such expressions before and they turn out to be really cool and fun. It was really fun drawing these two. And these are also done with some pen and markers. For these two, I use my glass dip pen and I use watercolor, liquid watercolor for these two. It was a first experience working with dip glass pens, so it was really fun and also challenging because I've never worked with it before, but it was really cool and I really like the texture of these faces. For these two, I also use my pens and gel pens. Ink. For the background, I used my liquid watercolor and I wanted to make it more look like abstract, and that's why for the background I decided to do this. For these two, the challenging part was to practice the perspective for me, but overall I really like how they turn out. This one was done with color pencils and also I used my acrylic gouache for the background. I really like these two, especially this one, because the facial expressions are just hilarious. So I use my ballpoint pen and some ink for the hair and my markers for the outlines. For these two, I wanted to experiment with some vibrant colors. So this one is done with pens, and for the background I use this water soluble crayons that I had, and for this one I use my watercolor markers and some ink and some pen for the sketching, and this is the result. These two are both done with color pencils and I've used my watercolor markers for the background. Okay, this one was a really fun challenge. For this portrait, I actually used some graphite powder and did the highlight with some erasing and did the details with my mechanical pencil and some blenders. And this one is done with pen and ink and markers. For these two also I used acrylic gouache. All of it is done with acrylic gouache. And I was surprised that this sketchbook could tolerate that. I didn't use a lot of water. So I tried the dry technique and it worked out perfectly actually. So for this one, I actually used color pastel pencils. I have never worked with those before. I had experiences with pastel colors but never used color pastel pencils. So this was a nice challenge for me and I quite like the result of this. And for this one, I use only color pencils, like two colors, brown and black. This one was done with ballpoint pen and this one with color pencil, and for the background I also used water soluble crayons. These two are just simply done with mechanical pencils and I just wanted to keep it simple, no colors, and this is the result. These two also, they're done with color pencil. I also use red again, and for the background I used the crayons that I just mentioned. And the last page, these are done with color pencil. I really like the texture of these two and I wanted to experiment with different colors. So this is the result of that. I think I have done around 50 something portraits in this sketchbook, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Also, go ahead and check out those other sketchbook tour videos that I made, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Stay creative.